Hey everyone, welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. This episode we're to be studying a piece by the career digital illustrator known as TJO, and in this episode we're to be talking about the Nightwalker, and we're also going to explore the style of Neo-Expressionism, so let's jump right into it. So whenever you first see this work, we're struck by the incredible vibrance of the scene at hand here. We see what appears to be a lone subject in multiple stages walking around a corner. Our first impression may be one of shock, like I said, to the incredible vibrance and visual energy of the work at hand. We look at this work, of course the colors are quite interesting. We see a rather dark aesthetic, kind of a darker background there, but upon that we have this incredible deep blue and then kind of a fluorescent oranges red. So it's quite interesting. If you know anything about the schemes, blue and oranges red are going to be complementary schemes, so they're going to contrast each other and kind of fight for the viewer's attention. So the impact here are going to be contrasted and kind of fighting for our attention within the work at hand. What you may also notice is the impact of texture. We see this everywhere, from these really rough tiles to this wall far beyond, which kind of fades out of view there. It's quite interesting. Another thing you may notice is the impact of implied motion. We see what appears to be a subject kind of walking around this corner, and we aren't hinted at the subject's identity in any way. All we have is this kind of passing blur, this kind of red scribble. Of course, red is a very fluorescent and striking color, so the presence of any red is going to give a sense of visual energy, but also going to draw the eye as well. So there's really no doubt that we have this sense of disorder or discomfort within the composition at hand. This display is absolutely stunning, and it creates a very dark and kind of foreboding aesthetic. You surely see that here. And like I said, you see the passage of motion through time. It's quite interesting. We're really not hinted at our subject's identity. With this in mind, who do you think we're looking at? Who or what do you think our subject may be? It's a pretty interesting question we may ask. And so this piece is quite interesting. If you look a bit deeper, you see everything from a photograph to, individual writing on the tiles as well. It's incredibly interesting. It may even remind of a collage in one way or another. Of course, elements one upon another is quite distinct with things like Dadaism or, say, Neo-Expressionism. What do I mean by that? Well, Neo-Expressionism is really a style that was coined in the 70s and 80s, the 1970s and 80s, and of course used a very rough handling of materials and even the integration of multiple different mediums as well. One of the most popular artists of Neo-Expressionism is Basquiat. He's a very, very famous and very popular artist who came from New York City. He did have a lot of trouble with drugs and things like that, but there is no doubt that he created some of the most influential work of street culture that still lives to this day. So it's absolutely stunning. And what's so interesting about this work, like I said, we don't know who or what our subject is. It appears to be a night walker who's just walking in the night, and with that he disappears into the darkness once more with no trace of it other than this passage and this very visceral red blur there. So it's an absolutely stunning piece. There is no doubt about that. And the original artist TJO does an amazing job in the style of Neo-Expressionism. This piece before us is actually a digital illustration, so it was painstakingly created and painted upon a screen there. But like I said, you see the integration of multiple different mediums, including photography and writing upon that base medium of digital illustration. So an absolutely stunning work, and we always love to study TJO. Actually brought in some other works from TJO. We're going to check those out real quick, see what we can learn and get some insights from those. Alright, so I brought two other works from TJO, absolutely stunning. We see the integration of multiple different mediums as well. Primarily is going to be that of digital illustration, so we certainly see that within the piece before us here. Of course, the use of this very deep blue is quite distinct to TJO style. We see that in multiple different instances, and we see, of course, red upon blue upon black is going to not only contrast each other, but give this very dark and foreboding aesthetic. So it's absolutely stunning in multiple different instances. The artist, talks about things like mental health, very darker aesthetics and darker themes that he's playing with. Of course, we see this very ghoulish subject, bit of framing with that subject as well. But like I said, there's no doubt that TJO does an amazing job in the style of Neo-Expressionism, and especially the integration of multiple different mediums. So when you see this deep blue, this black, and of course this very visceral and vibrant red, there's no doubt that you can guess that is going to be a work from TJO. So absolutely stunning, and we always love to look at those insights. So yeah, I really hope y'all enjoyed an absolutely stunning piece, a very dark and foreboding piece as well. We don't know exactly who this subject is. Like I said, all we have is this kind of visceral red scribble. It's hard to say for sure, but I really hope y'all enjoyed today. Talked about so many different things from Neo-Expressionism, this kind of disordered aesthetic, the blur of this subject, the impact of different colors and how they may play upon one another. So many different things we hit on today. I really hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all did, go check out the original artist TJO across multiple different platforms, and like I said, working with multiple different mediums as well. It's always a pleasure to study this artist. My name is Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see y'all on the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.